Mess Around by Ray Charles, requested by our next guest in a crafty text message that you didn't even put on a fake name, Stephen Schwer.
No, I didn't. I wanted to see you dance, though, and I haven't seen you dance yet.
Oh, look, as I said at the start of the show, I'm a bit tired, so it's, it'd have to be particularly good. That was an absolute ripper, though, and I'm pleased to say that here in studio there was dancing. It just wasn't on my part.
And I have to say, before we start as well, on the food stuff, Stuart Windsor says to say hello. I'm under strict instructions, who I believe you interviewed when you were over at ABC Central Victoria.
Oh.
But it's good to see you back in the region.
Oh, thank you. It is good to be back in the region, and I don't know what the connection is there, but he's a librarian, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And I gave away his wife at their wedding.
Oh, yep. It is a small world, isn't it?
It is a small world.
It is a small world. Now, look, we have you in here to talk a little bit about food, because I know for a fact that everyone around here, they're a proud bunch. They're proud of everything they do locally, but sometimes they don't really be proud of local food necessarily. I don't know, there seems to be an odd thing going on, and there is this campaign out there called Eat Local SA. It's an initiative of the Regional Food Industry Association, Food SA and PIRSA. So why is it even important to eat local? Well, Stephen from Southern Flinders Tourism is here. He's pretty good on the fang too, aren't you?
I do enjoy my food. But with Eat Local SA, it's a really good program because we are trying to get people proud of the local produce that's in their area. Southern Flinders, I don't know how many people actually realise the incredible quality and quantity of food that there is out there, and the diversity. We've got butchers who smoke their own meat, who process their own meat. We've got local farmers who have organic lamb and saltbush lamb and all these kinds of things that are out there. We've got the local grain growers making pastas. We've got olive oil. We've got olives. We've got all sorts of bits and pieces. And it is a bit sad to say that, yes, you're right, we're very proud of all of this, but there's not many local outlets actually supplying and selling and serving up these foods. So Eat Local's designed to get people doing that.
Because it's almost as if we are aware that these things get produced here, but we sort of maybe think they get shipped down to the city or over to Sydney and used as boutique-y type things rather than necessarily us embracing them. Do you think that's...
Exactly, and that's good, of course, for our economy to have these products going nationally and internationally. But we also have plenty of the product that is here in our region that we can access. So what we're trying to do is highlight that, get people to highlight that, whether they be a deli or a butcher or a baker or a restaurant, cafe, anything like that. Farm gate retailer who has some produce there. We want them to highlight that they're actually stocking local produce or growing local produce, and we want locals to then buy that produce to be able to support our growers.
So this is a sort of campaign that is one of those things where you see a nice sticker in the window that alerts you to the fact that this person is actually supporting the local producers.
That's right, and you may start to see these signs. You may have seen them already around the place. There's a black and white Eat Local sign, fairly prominent in the businesses that have signed up. We have 11 businesses that have signed up around the Southern Flinders at the moment. And this is a statewide thing, so if you go into the Yorke Peninsula or to the Clare Valley or Eyre Peninsula or the Barossa, you'll see the same Eat Local decal, and we want people to see that sign and to then request from that particular, whether it be a butcher, a baker, a retailer, whatever it happens to be, to request to see what it is that they do locally, what product they support locally, so that those people who are going to that place can actually buy that product. Is this a marketing ploy, or is this an attempt to change food culture? It's both. I'll be very honest. Yes, it is all about marketing. We want people to be using our local growers as much as possible so that we can retain some money in the region. So marketing is always going to be a part of that. But yeah, it's also a way of changing people's culture of just getting the takeaway food that has very little nutritional value, that has very little goodness in it, and has very little economic impact on our region. We want people to be thinking about their food choices more, and to be purchasing things that not only help them internally and help them feel better about themselves, but also help the local economy.
Are we lagging behind? Because as you mentioned, I've just spent 6 months in Central Victoria, where people will spend any amount of money buying local produce, and I really mean that. There is a lot of money that goes into markets and local restaurants that push this as their sort of modus operandi.
Definitely. And look, with our visitor surveys that we do, we're noticing that there's a significant trend of people who are really getting quite annoyed when they travel through our region and they can't access local produce, quality dining options, that kind of thing. So we're trying to highlight the ones who do it really well and encourage others to come along for the ride as well, so that we can meet that need, because there's a lot of money that we're missing out on.
So with that in mind, what has the take-up been of local sort of commercial operations of these stickers and this scheme?
Well, actually, it started in September. It was launched in September by Minister Gago, and now we've just had our 100th business sign up across the state. So Southern Flinders represents about 10% of that at the moment, and we actually think there's a few more places who should get on board, and it's only $120. I've got to put in the plug there and get people to contact myself or anyone at the Southern Flinders Regional Tourism Authority office, or jump onto eatlocalsa.com.au to have a look at the details. But yeah, so we represent about 10% of the take-up across the state at the moment, which is pretty exciting. We're actually the fourth highest region in take-up.
Which is pretty cool, especially when you're against some regions which are renowned, I suppose, for their food output. But what does this scheme do for you as a tourism expert in this region? What does it give you?
Okay, well, it's interesting. If you have a look at TripAdvisor, that's where you start to see how important this is. Without our visitor surveying, you can look at things like TripAdvisor, Facebook, Twitter, and all those kinds of social media outlets where people are talking about their experiences, and they're not having the kind of experience that they should be having in our region. They're wanting local product, they're wanting quality product, they don't know where to find it, and this is the kind of thing that will help them find those products, and it will then help them have a better holiday in the region and spend more money in the region, because when it comes down to it, my job is to make tourists spend more money in the region, and so that's why this program's so important.
Well, I'd be interested if there are people that are passing through at the moment. I know that many tourists flip over to our station as they are going through, maybe driving across Australia. 1300 160 222. I'd be interested to hear your experience, and also anyone who is local who thinks that maybe this is silly or is the best idea, or perhaps this is an opening for you for a new business. 1300 160 222. The talkback line is always open. Mr. Schwer, it's always a pleasure. Let's have you back